Shrimp Queen. Hey guys, Mcoast checking in before the show, obviously. Okay, so this episode's going to come with a couple of announcements in it, but just to make a long story short, Beautiful Losers is no longer Beautiful Nor Losers. Due to some artistic differences, the podcast, we decided that it's better to leave it, but being the person that I am, I cannot stop podcasting. And instead of just starting a whole new one, I decided to continue on this feed, posting new episodes of my new podcast with Maz called Daystreamers. Daystreamers is essentially the baby between Past the Page and Beautiful Losers, where we talk everything from books to comic books and focus on a lot of things within Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, anything that you can stream, anything on YouTube. We even talk about other podcasts. But that'll be coming in next week when we record our first episode of that. But for now, I'm going to leave you with what is the last episode of Beautiful Losers, which will talk about My Hero Academia. It will talk about Riverdale, seeing as the new season of Riverdale, Season 3, starts this week. I'm deciding to drop this one, a recap of Season 2, right before it. It seemed appropriate, and I felt like it was time to get back on the horse, and not heroin, the horse. But without further ado, here is the last episode of Beautiful Losers. Hello and welcome to Beautiful Losers, the comic book movie and TV news podcast. My name is Mcoast, and this week we are changing things up. Beautiful Losers has undergone a series of changes. This week with me is the lovely host of the Past the Page podcast, our sister podcast on the Shrimp Queen Network. Here is the one and only Maz.
Hi. Oh, I feel like so flattered right now. I'm not gonna cry.
All right. So tell the Beautiful Losers fans a bit about yourself before we get into everything.
Well, a little bit about myself. What can I say? I'm 23 years old. Mco says I'm old. Ancient. Yeah. He used the word ancient.
Ancient, yes.
I do a lot of theater, music. I read a lot of books. I write. I dance. I paint. I'm not a very sports girl, so that's okay though. I like to swim though, so that's something.
She's a jack of all trades. Tell us a bit about Past the Page. Let the fans know what that's about.
Well, Past the Page is basically another podcast, of course. Our sister podcast, basically. Yeah, about how things are going, and we basically talk about books, anything related to books. In general, graphic novels, comics, movies about books, or series related to books. And we kind of just criticize everything basically, in a good way.
Yeah.
We give good feedback in a good way.
They give feedback about everything that has to do in the literary world. It's Maz, it's Lola,
and Jay
is the newest host on the show. I love what you guys are doing. I love what's going on that show, and I'm happy to have you on this week.
Aww, you're so nice.
Alright, so let's get right into the news. Hey guys, really quick, future Mcoast coming back. I forgot to mention that this podcast was recorded a few months back, around the end of July, maybe? Or the end of June? I'm not really sure. This is So the news is going to be very, very outdated. I notice now as I'm editing, but I don't want to cut it too short because the episode's already, a bit too short. So I'm just going to leave this old news in. Remember, guys, this is very, very old news. I understand that this news is old. So just bear with me. From the beginning, I kind of want to start it off with a bit of sad news that has hit the comic book community. Steve Ditko, the co-creator of Spider-Man and basically just the creator of a bunch of the art that inspires the Marvel Universe, he passed away today at 90 years old. Today.
Wow.
They just found him dead at his apartment. Oh no, it's been confirmed. They found him dead in his apartment last week, and it has not come to light until now. No cause of death has been announced, but 90 years old is a long route. Like you did it. You created the highest grossing comic book character in all of history. Mm-hmm. Like no other character makes more money than Spider-Man. So you had a good run. Rest in peace. I wish your whole family well, and all the whole Ditko family and everybody at Marvel must be grieving right now. So yeah. So now let's go on to a bit of more light news. If I show you this, do you understand what's happening?
It feels like like he had this. He took some pills and just made himself stronger.
All right. So what I'm showing Maz right now.
What is that?
Yeah. What I'm showing Maz right now is a while back people were not happy. Well, people still aren't happy with the way The Last Jedi went through. You know how like some people hated The Last Jedi and some people loved The Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. Well, some of the people who really, really hated it decided to write a remake, and they proposed a remake, and they're like, give us money, we'll film this movie, and it'll be 10 times better than the original Last Jedi. So people who have read this script started making posters about what it would be like if we listened to everything these people wanted. And it's obviously just a mess.
That looks like a Stranger Things.
It's a mess. The whole thing's
bad.
The whole thing is a mess. Like, I'll upload the picture to the Facebook page. You guys can go check that out. Let me explain. Yes. So basically, what we have front and center is Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker in like a Rambo's body, just ripped. He's wearing like a fuzzy vest. He's got a lightsaber in one hand and a revolver in the other one. Wow. Like, he is just the most majestic all-American thing you've ever seen in your life. Yeah. And then right next to him, to his to your left, you have Snoke explaining his whole backstory and his whole plan, because everybody needs to know this guy's origin story, and that's why they were upset about that. You have Kylo Ren wearing like a spiked out armor, and he's just ripped. Like, that's what people wanted. In the top, and behind all this, there's a big explosion happening. Right?
It looks like Sharknado Part 5.
It looks like a Sharknado poster. You have a weird ship, a new ship, that's 3 Death Stars, like, stuck together.
They're like in a triangle.
They're in a triangle, just kind of stuck together. You got Yoda in a tank in the back.
That's Yoda?
That's Yoda,
I can barely see it.
Yeah, it's like Yoda's in the top, and then under it... No, that's Yoda right there. He's, like, right there in the middle. He's in, like, a weird droid tank. You've got Finn with a fedora watching, like, anime or hentai or whatever.
Out of his eye.
Out of his eye. Then you've got Rey in the kitchen cooking like a woman should be, which is what these people talk about, and it's horrible.
I'm actually very curious about this part right there.
Right there. That is
going on?
That is Princess Leia. It's Carrie Fisher in her old slave Leia costume, but as an old woman as she was in the movie. And then you have BB-8 with a baseball bat, but covered in like barbed wire. Like, this thing is ridiculous. Right next to Princess Leia. This thing is ridiculous. It's horrible. This makes me like happy to know that I made the right choice, knowing that. Like, I know that it had...
I like the movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Like, as much
obviously, I can understand their problems. Like, maybe this guy doesn't have an origin. But cool. You didn't know Palpatine's origins until the prequels, and no one hated that character, you know? Mm-hmm. It's a lot of crybabies and just the worst of the comic book and geek community just being shitty. Mm-hmm. You know? That's enough of that. I can't look at that much longer. Alright, so everyone's favorite crazy man, Nicolas Cage.
Love him.
Yeah, he's a psychopath. He may have gotten the role of a very, very important character in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which we know is the new Miles Morales movie that's coming out. Mm-hmm. It's an animated Spider-Man movie where they connect a bunch of different Spider-Verses, it's going to be a good time. Cool. It's going to be fun. And Nicolas Cage seems to have gotten a role in that movie. People are saying that it might be Spider-Man Noir, which is like a dark Batman mixed with...
It'll make sense.
Yeah, and that's what I thought at first, but then I thought about how awesome it would be if he became Spider-Ham. Oh. Spider-Ham being the pig version of Spider-Man that still walks around and has speaks and stuff.
That'd actually be cool too.
Like, I think it would be cool, and I think it would be hilarious. But most likely it's for an intense character like Spider-Man Noir. It's going to be...
No, and the actor could actually pull that off.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it would be a good twist if it ended up being Spider-Ham, which I'm still hoping is in this movie. Next bit of news. So, Deadpool actor Louis Tan, who played Shatterstar, the alien who gets exploded and explodes green everywhere, Shatterstar, he is apparently... confirmed that he talked to DC about playing Dick Grayson in the Nightwing movie for the DC universe. Okay. I think it could work. I always said that I want a more diverse cast with something like a Robin. You know, like, you doesn't have to be a white guy, doesn't have to be just, you know, stock standard white boys to play Robins. You could have, you know, Asian characters, Latin characters. You could have black characters. Like, it doesn't really matter. So I'm glad that Louis Tan... Like, I was upset at Deadpool because they wasted his potential as an actor.
That was really sad. No, I was really sad with an actor playing Green Lantern.
With Ryan Reynolds?
God, yes.
Yeah.
It was a dark moment.
Yeah, that was a bad
That was something.
So, I guess tread lightly, because not everything that's coming out of DC is necessarily a good.
No, but I love it how in Deadpool he actually makes fun of it. Like, it was a dark part of his life.
Alright. So, James Mangold, the director of Logan and the new Boba Fett movie that should be... I don't know when it's going to start production, but it's in the slate. He's set to do that movie. He started talking about how he's scared... or he believes that the backlash that the fans give, like, every single movie that comes out, is going to lead to movies being made by hacks. So just people who are completely mediocre in the business. And I can understand his sentiment, because if these Star Wars movies done in lesser hands would end up being like the fan movie that we saw that ridiculous poster of. Like, if we give this to shittier people, you know, it could be boring. Like, that's what happened with Han Solo. Like, the Han Solo movie wasn't well received, but that's because they picked such a stock standard normal guy to do the movie, when you had two comedians and two comedy directors working on the original one that might have been something better. So I can understand what he's trying to say, and I completely believe him. Like, we're evolving. Movies should be able to evolve too, and people have to stop being so overly critical, going from like 0 to 100 in nothing. You know, saying like, oh, this movie wasn't... Going from this movie was okay to like, this movie was garbage, let's write a new one. Like, that's fucking horrible. Anyway. So this is a bit of Captain Marvel news. It might be possible spoilers, but then again, nobody knows anything about anything. No one knows nothing. So, Samuel L. Jackson posted a picture of him with the cast and crew jacket that they got for Captain Marvel. And it's nice. It has two flags on it. One that says Fury, one that says Danvers, one with the Captain Marvel logo, and the other one with S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's nice.
So, yeah. But the interesting part of it is that there's a yellow cat in the middle of the shield. What people are thinking is that that's going to be Carol Danvers' cat from the comics called Chewie, who is as you can see from the picture, kind of like, it's I think it's the same species as Rocket Raccoon, because Rocket's original species can shapeshift. So they're saying that it's something like that. It has a bunch of powers too. Like the cat knows teleportation, and it has like tentacles out of his mouth, and so I think that would be a good way to just. It's a fun thing to put into the movie, I guess. You know, if they don't try to make it like a minion.
He doesn't talk, basically.
Yeah, if they don't make it like a minion, like how the minions are just horrible. You know, I think that they could.
Wait, but do you think it should talk? Or do you think it just no?
I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure if the cat can talk in the. I'm not sure if they could talk in the comics, but I don't think I would want it to talk. If not by telepathy.
Okay, yeah.
Like if they can talk like telepathically, that'd be fine to me, I guess. And the last bit of news that I have here also regards Captain Marvel. Samuel L. Jackson and Clark Gregg are going to be de-aged for this movie, seeing as it's going to be in the 90s. So we're going to get a younger Nick Fury, and we're going to get a younger Coulson.
That is going to be fun.
So it's going to be a good time. I want to see what went on in the 90s. You know, what was Marvel like in the 90s? Because realistically speaking, we got into the universe 2008. Like, that's how far we know this universe from. This has a whole history behind it that we don't know about.
No, as I can see, I kind of like it that it's the same actors.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not gonna be like this random kid.
Yeah, I mean, they
playing
did
Fury.
They kind of experimented this from what's this movie called? In Civil War, when Robert Downey Jr. like wakes up and he's young. At first, you're just like, "Whoa, that's creepy."
Yeah.
Because you think, "Oh, this is another actor that looks a lot like him." But then you realize that that's actually just Robert Downey Jr. aged down, and it's gotten so much better in the movie that we're going to talk about today, Ant-Man and the Wasp. They aged down Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer. They looked great.
They did.
Like, they looked really good, and I want to see this. Like, 25 years is a long time to de-age somebody. But
basically,
I think it could work. Like, yeah, just bring it 25 years. Like, to bring it 25 years back, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for this. All right.
I like his afro.
Yeah, they used a picture. They used a picture, like the stock standard Samuel L. Jackson picture.
He's the best.
All right, so you might have noticed that I took a bit of a leave of absence for the podcast. The pod has been away for like 3 weeks. It's because I went on vacation. I went to see sunny California.
Cali.
The Cali West Coast lifestyle of the Californians. No, it was a good time. I had a good time. I saw a lot of geeky comic book stuff. I actually got to see a preview of Ant-Man while I was over there. I got to see like the first 5 minutes over there, and it was a good time because I went to. I remember
you texting me about that.
I was super excited.
So excited. He was so excited.
Freaking excited! I went to Disney.
Oh.
That was an interesting experience because I've only ever been to Disney in Florida. It's much smaller.
And yeah, you told me it was just one park basically. It got divided into two now.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it's small enough to be one park. Like, it was a good time though. I went over there when they were during Pixar Fest, so there was a lot of like incredible stuff and Finding Nemo stuff. I got to go in a Finding Nemo submarine. That was cool. Saw fish. But it wasn't all just Disney. I also went to Universal, and that was a really good time. I enjoyed myself most at the Simpsons stuff.
Well, the rides were almost identical to the ones at Orlando?
I've never went to Universal Orlando. My first time.
You never had gone there?
My first time in Universal was now in not San Diego.
Orlando's
in
nice.
California.
But I think by how you were talking to me about Harry Potter and everything, I think it's almost the same.
Well, they have the similarities. Like, they obviously own the same things. Like, they both own Jurassic Park and Harry Potter and all those things. But no two parks are going to be exactly the same.
Oh, yeah.
So
the castle, they told me the castle's different.
Which castle? One in Disney?
Disney Castle.
Yeah, the Disney Castle is much smaller.
Okay.
It's a lot smaller. It's actually a store. Like, you go in there and it's It's a Christmas store.
Oh, that's cute.
Super cute.
Yeah, so it's a Christmas store all year round, basically?
They have a Christmas store in there that's just like all year.
Okay.
It's a really fun time. The main street was cool. There were like horses and carriages, and it was just a good time. Like, we got the Pirates of the Caribbean ride was longer.
Mm-hmm.
It was
and
different.
Puerto Rico was there, apparently.
Yeah. I was like, I'm back in Puerto Rico.
You've always wanted to see the Caribbean.
Yeah, I looked over at my uncle who was there, and I was like, I've never been to Puerto Rico, man. He was like, well, you're here. And I'm like, yeah. We live in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but the thing is, in Orlando, they don't have that part. I don't remember at all Disney, that they do have
in Disney,
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. No, they don't have the Puerto Rico part.
No, exactly. I had never seen it
before. They completely cut out that part over there.
Yeah.
But it was fun, you know? There was a lot more Disney characters just walking around.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Disney Disney Orlando, they don't really walk around anymore. They have like areas where it's designated for booths and stuff.
Yeah.
But with this one, it was just like they're walking around. They're just strolling through the park, and you can say hi to them whenever.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing for Universal, which was weird seeing Shrek walk next to me. I was like, that's weird. I wanted to dunk on a minion and I couldn't. What else? No, California was a good time. I went to San Diego. I saw them setting up for San Diego Comic-Con. The streets were just all the street lamps in San Diego on poster on it. Like all
when
of it.
When is Comic-Con?
I think this thing stopped actually. No.
No.
Comic-Con is the... I'll edit that out.
No, it's okay.
Comic-Con is the 20th of July. Right. So obviously I missed it by a bit. Mm-hmm. But we're going to be getting a shit ton of news for that. So that's going to get its own episode.
Rebecca, right?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No. That's just us.
Okay. I get it.
We're just going to be getting a shit ton of news, and we're going to have to do a whole episode on Comic-Con. We do it every year. Yeah. It's just the way it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, California was a great time. San Diego, I loved it the most. I went to San Francisco, and just by little problems with timing, I couldn't meet up with Culpepper, our sound designer, and now works with Beautiful Losers. He's just been loyal from the beginning, so I was a little upset I didn't get to see him. But hey, maybe next time. I'm definitely going back to California. It's definitely a good time. So if you haven't been to the great state of California, do it.
I haven't.
You should definitely go. It's a fun time, and knowing you'd absolutely love it. And yeah, I'll edit that whole space out. And while I was over there, I actually got a chance to catch up on Riverdale, a show that we both very much enjoy.
I love Riverdale.
The whole series just got on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I started watching the season when it came out, and that was during Hurricane Maria, like the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, and I only watched the first episode over there.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until now that I saw like the whole season, and I wish I'd seen it week to week.
Why?
Because it's that little bit of adrenaline rush that you get between episodes.
Now you had no excuse. You just had to watch
it was just full on through. Like there was no like, I have to wait for the shock moment a week.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're gonna talk about this later too. But My Hero Academia, right now
we have to like wait for it.
We have to wait another week for it because they're not doing an episode this week.
I am so eager.
So we have a 2-week wait this time, and this is just kind of evil, I guess. It's evil. It's mean, is what that is. But yeah, I
and it seems like it's gonna be a good episode by like the glimpses we had from the last episode. So it seems like it's gonna be good.
We'll talk more about My Hero Academia in a bit. But back to Riverdale. What did you enjoy most about the series? Like, what was this season?
This season, actually.
Okay, the first question: did you like it better than the first season?
Wow, that's harsh. I think no.
No?
I think I liked the first season better.
All right. What did you...
I think I did. Because, I don't know, I feel like... Fun fact, if you guys haven't watched Riverdale, this season is actually almost twice the longest as the first one. The first one was like 12 episodes,
the first
and this
season
was like 22.
First season was 13 episodes.
13, yeah.
This season was 22 episodes,
yeah.
but separated into 2 story arcs.
Exactly. If you guys like watch anime or anything, they mostly do that. Like they have this whole big season, and then they divide the arcs between 2. So anyone out there that actually watches anime can understand it a little bit better.
Yeah. So that's why I was kind of normal with that.
I found it a little bit long because I felt like the whole story of the Black Hood kept going for 22 episodes.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much. We're going into full spoilers, by the way. This is full spoilers for Riverdale. If you haven't seen Riverdale, skip it forward. I'll put a time code, or I won't. Just keep skipping forward.
We'll put it. Don't worry about it. He's not mean.
I'm just lazy. Okay. So the Black Hood thing, it obviously happens at the end of season 1. We see it play out for the first half until it's resolved halfway through. But then smaller things keep happening around Riverdale, which lead like to the return of the Black Hood.
Somehow. I just feel like they had a big lapse of just info. But I think they're competing, honestly. Season 1 and Season 2 for me are competing. But I think Season 1 for me wins a little bit more. Because, I don't know, Season 1 just took my heart over. And I got to see all the characters and actually get to know them a lot more on this season. Like, I felt like we didn't have much of the characters per se, much story about them. It was more like, this is what's happening, this is what we should be doing, you know. Except Betty's mother.
Betty's mother has a huge. She gets character development.
Secret, yeah, and she has a secret and everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of character development with the mom. There's character development with Cheryl. There's a huge character growth there.
And Jughead as well.
Everyone kind of grows and shows another part of their character, but I was more excited for the characters that we didn't get to kind of see in the first season, like Cheryl. Like Cheryl was just kind of, I'm the mean one throughout the whole first season.
And we get to see her a little bit better on this one as well.
Yeah, we get to see that she has a heart and
another secret too.
And another secret, which we will get to in a bit. I like this season better. I preferred it better. Yeah. I liked that it was longer. I
did like that. Because it was a lot longer too.
I was like, when I was done, I was just like, I need more content.
And it always ends up with Archie. Something happens that obviously it's gonna end up with Archie.
Because Riverdale is based off Archie comics, and Archie's the main character of that, obviously. This season had my favorite thing, which was Serpent Jughead.
Yes.
Like I like that version of him better than this Northsider. I'm just kind of the poor boy over here. I'm not like, I'm this, I'm whatever. But in the South Side, he's like, I'm royalty here. I'm a leader, and you get to see him.
And as a rebel as well.
Yeah, you get to see him. You get to see him leading instead of following. And when he's over there with the 2 new characters that stick around, which are Sweet Pea and Tony Topaz. Yeah. They both have huge. Antoinette Topaz. She goes by Tony. Tony plays a huge part in this, especially with the whole Cheryl thing, which I guess I'll just talk about now.
I guess no, not yet, because we're gonna get there.
Bit of sizzle for you before we get there.
But can we say his mom whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently she was a serpent.
She was a serpent
when she was younger.
They kind of mention it in season 1, but in this season we actually see her, go full leather. With her embrace,
and we see her in different aspects of who she is.
Yeah, in the first season, I didn't like her at all.
No, of course, Cheryl nor his Betty's mom, because they were planted as the bad woman, as you may say.
You were gonna say something?
No, I was just waiting for you to say something.
Okay. But yeah, we find out her secrets. She It's just a lot of that. It was a lot of character growth, and I was happy to see this happen to this character.
And we have new characters as well. We have Betty's brother.
He
comes back.
Betty's brother?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. He's Chick.
Chick. His name
Charles.
is Chick.
It's not Charles. Charles, of course, is their brother.
Yeah. So basically what happens is that we figure out in the first season that Betty has a brother that they don't know about yet. So something happens to Betty's mom that what's her name? What's the sister? Polly. Had the babies, and she didn't tell. Jupiter and No, Juniper and Dagwood.
Oh, God.
Horrible baby names. Horrible baby names.
I think I want to name my kids like that.
So Polly leaves and has the kids, and the mom's kind of depressed because she's like, I can't believe I missed this.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So they go out to find Charles.
Yeah.
They go to Charles' apartment, and he says, "No, my name is Chick."
It's just a nickname, maybe,
it sounded like a nickname.
Yeah.
And he knew enough about the Coopers, and he started pretending like he was...
Charles was his best friend, apparently.
Yeah, Charles was his best friend and his roommate.
Mm-hmm.
But, so what happens is that they let this stranger into their house. They're thinking that
it's his brother.
That it's
and
their brother.
It kind of looks like them as well.
Yeah, he's blonde. He's a blue-eyed boy.
Yeah.
You know, you can put them all together in a room and you think
always
they're
creepy.
Family. Always creepy.
He had this eyes.
And in
creepy.
the end, you find out
mm-hmm.
that he really isn't Charles or never was Charles because he killed Charles.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a whole thing. And I'm kind of glad we're not going to see, or I hope we're not going to see Chick again. He didn't die. He ran away.
No, and the thing is, like, and the thing was that, like, he wasn't feeling very well with himself either way for killing Charles, because, like, it's not like he wanted to kill him. It was an accident, as you may say. But he admits it at one point, and the Black Hood didn't get to him, did it?
No.
Because Betty, what happened was that Betty sold his brother to the Black Hood.
Yeah.
So he can go grab him, and the last thing we know about Chick is that he just runs. You know, Betty gives him this head start to run before the Black Hood gets to reach him, and he runs, and we see the Black Hood, like, just run, following Chick, and then we don't get to know if he's still alive.
No,
do we get to know that he runs away?
He runs away. They say that he gets away. The Black Hood says I couldn't catch him or something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then we find out, and then the Black Hood, right after that, the Black Hood goes to kill Cheryl.
Mm-hmm.
And within a bunch of confusion, we basically find out that the Black Hood, from the beginning, the one who shot Archie's dad,
mm-hmm.
the one who was terrorizing
mm-hmm.
Riverdale, was Betty's father.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because he believes that the town has to pay for its sins.
It has to be purified.
So he had to go around killing everybody.
And it was nice to actually see a little bit more of his persona, as you may say.
Yeah, and now he's in prison, but there is a theory behind this, and I want to hear what you think about the theory. I'm not sure if you read it yet. But there is a theory that since Hal is technically a Blossom, and the Blossoms are almost always twins, that the person who's locked up right now is Hal's twin
brother,
taking place for Hal. That theory comes by after he brings Betty's mom some flowers, and she goes, "Well, I can't have those. You've been married to me for how many years, and you still don't remember that I'm allergic to these flowers?"
Yeah, and yeah. That was the day he comes over to apologize. He comes
back to apologize.
And yes, and he never said anything about it.
Exactly.
I get it, but like,
because then we also
isn't it supposed to like jump the whole twin theory? Isn't like supposed to like jump generations?
No, because
not of the Blossom family.
No, because we meet Clifford Blossom's supposed twin brother.
Mm-hmm.
He comes by saying that he's his uncle Claudius, but we don't know that. It could still be Clifford. But if we use that fact that they're twins, then after that they still had Cheryl and Jason, who are also twins.
They're twins, yeah.
So that means that this twin thing doesn't skip a generation.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually.
So, like, maybe it skipped a generation when it came to Betty, because she wasn't supposed to be a twin. But, you know, we still had... You know, it still could be a toss-up if Hal is a twin or not.
Is a twin or not?
That'd be a good thing to
yeah,
explore
and actually something
next
I noticed on that episode was, like, the day before he was there, he was all mad shit crazy, like he didn't want to come back, like it was just bad and everything, and then the couple of days later it kind of just switches around.
Well, I mean,
so fast.
Something that I noticed,
so harsh.
Something that isn't resolved is that we see Hal and Cheryl's mom have relations. They have a relationship, and that just kind of ends. And no one understands why. So it would make sense if it's not Hal. You know, it would make sense that Hal's locked up somewhere.
That would make sense. I approve the theory.
I want to see season 3. I'm excited for season 3.
One question: who is your favorite character? You can't say Jughead.
Damn.
Everybody out there, he loves Jughead. Okay, so I know he is your favorite character. Tell me someone else.
From this season? Yeah, I'll do from this season. That's a hard one, honestly. I
don't think it's Archie.
No, Archie was okay.
No.
He felt more like a whiny boy the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that my least favorite was Nick St. Clair. Rapist boy, rich boy, Nick St. Clair.
Yeah.
I also didn't like Hiram Lodge that much. Why not? Because he was I knew he was bad.
His Spanglish, oh my god, his Spanglish was so bad.
Like we're
I'm pretty sure he said Mija like 50 times on the 22 episodes.
Absolutely. Like, we're bilingual. We don't say... That's not what that happens.
Yeah,
that's not how that works.
It's not one sentence and then end up with cariño, or start the sentence with mija and then keep on going. No, it's like you're caught up in the middle of it. It's a transition. You don't even notice yourself or the person that you're speaking to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was just weird. It was bad. Weird. It was weird Spanglish there. We also get to know a lot more about Hiram Lodge and about his wife and about their secrets.
Yeah, and his
as
plans.
Well. And his plans and his everything. We get to know a lot about him because on the first season he was like, this is Hiram Lodge. He's like this whole ghostly figure. We don't know about what's going on, like on closed doors, as you may say. Continue. Who was your favorite character? I still don't know.
I think I'm gonna have to say, I don't know. I like the Serpents a lot. I like what FP did. Mm-hmm. Like, I liked FP as a character this season.
Oh, he's out of jail.
He's out of jail. He's a good boy now. I think I'm gonna have to say FP? Or Reggie. Reggie was a good villain throughout the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Like, he was just negative force against the team, and it was a good counter, like, between everything. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm gonna go with Reggie, maybe.
Okay. I like that. I like your decision. I actually like a lot of Cheryl.
Yeah, Cheryl did have a lot of growth.
I think Cheryl kind of just took my heart away in the whole Riverdale series, especially because there's, I don't know if you guys know about this, but there was an episode on Riverdale dedicated to Love, Simon.
Yeah, and that episode, Cheryl kind of not discovers, but she comes out of the closet. She already knows.
Yeah.
Like, she kind of has that feeling, but she kind of finally comes to terms with it. And it makes sense, you know, Love, Simon is about exactly that. Mm-hmm. It's about a boy kind of coming to terms with telling people that he's gay.
If you guys don't know, like, the movie Love, Simon, it's actually from a book. It's called Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda.
Yeah.
If you guys go into Pass the Page podcast,
they have a whole episode on that.
We have a whole episode on Love, Simon. So
all right, so more about Love, Simon over on that side. What we're going to talk about today is a little movie we saw last night. Get it? A little movie we saw last night. Ant-Man and the Wasp, because ants are small. Ant-Man and the Wasp, what did you think about it? Can you tell, using your memory of last night at the movies, what was Ant-Man and the Wasp about in the most vague sense, without using spoilers?
Wow, that's harsh.
All right.
Without using spoilers.
Like, no details.
Scott. Scott, okay. Everything we were left off in the whole thing, the whole melodrama about Cap and Captain America and how he helped them out, and now that he's like basically on house arrest and everything.
After Civil War,
you know. But it's basically, the story behind it is basically him going back into what was the Ant-Man and trying to find, well, of course, it was Wasp's mother. She's kind of trapped.
Played by Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes, she's kind of trapped. And
kind of trapped.
I forget the name.
She's trapped in the quantum realm.
The quantum realm.
We see,
I'm so bad with that name.
Which we see Scott Lang go into when he goes microscopic.
Yes. You said no spoilers though. That's from the first movie. That's my first movie, yeah.
So they have to go into the quantum realm to find her. There's a ghost lady.
And then everything starts with her story. The movie starts with her story.
Basically this whole in the vaguest sense, this whole movie is just about them trying to get one villain in this movie.
The Ghost could be represented as one, but she's not.
You could see Ghost as the villain because she's the one that's used in all the promo.
Yeah.
But then you also have Walter Goggins played by Walter Goggins playing a kind of mafioso guy who deals like alien technology. Who wants to get the laboratory with the quantum realm in it. So everyone's just kind of chasing for this tech, and it's kind of like a three-way fight between
who's gonna get there first.
Who's gonna get the quantum realm for what reason? Like Ghost wants to do it because to heal herself. She wants to do it to heal herself.
She's dying, basically.
She's dying. She wants to do it to heal herself. Walter Goggins wants it for the research and the money. And Ant-Man and the Wasp and that whole team want it so they can save. All that. You know what? I think we can just go right into spoilers.
It was nice because it was like a struggle to get the lab and everything. I actually enjoyed the movie a lot.
Yeah.
Fun fact, guys. He didn't want to buy my ticket because he wanted to use that money so he could get Ant-Man's head with the popcorn head.
Yeah, there's a popcorn bowl with Ant-Man's head on it. So
he's not a good date.
I am a good collector, is what I am. But I do. I have Ant-Man's head now, and that makes me really happy.
Yeah.
Let's go right into spoilers. Anyway, before we do, I want to say that this is a beautiful movie. This is definitely a beautiful movie.
It's funny.
Would you rate it beautiful or loser?
I would rate it beautiful.
All right.
It was really nice, and it's funny. It has all the elements. It's funny. It's serious.
It's
Marvel.
It feels like a Marvel one-shot.
Yeah, it's Marvel.
You know, it feels like a dumb movie that has nothing to do with the greater universe yet. And then now we dip into spoilers when we talk about the mid-credit scene before the post-credit scene. So, spoilers from here on out. The mid-credit scene, we see Michael Douglas, we see the Wasp, and we see Michelle Pfeiffer standing around a smaller version of the quantum realm.
Van. They have it in a van.
In a van. They have a smaller version of the quantum realm generator. They say, we need you to... They tell Scott that hey, we need you to go in there, and we need you to come out, but I need you to take this jar thing and pick up some energy.
Yeah. It's for research, basically.
For research, yeah. Or I think it was to heal Ghost. They
Somewhat.
They say that it's like to heal Ghost.
Yeah.
Like to keep her, like, okay.
Okay, yeah.
So...
Yeah, because if you guys don't know, their mom has, the Wasp mom kind of healed her, more or less.
At the end of the movie...
Yeah, more or less.
Everything's resolved when Michelle Pfeiffer comes out and heals the Ghost because she's been in there for so long that Michelle Pfeiffer has powers now. Anyway, we see Scott Lang get microscopic, go into the quantum realm, pick up the energy, and he says, "All right, guys, take me back." Only problem is no one answers him. He thinks it's a joke. It kind of goes
into static, and it
goes into static. Everything just kind of stays quiet. And when we shoot back to what they're doing, they are dust that is left over from the Infinity War after the Thanos snap. So
you guys should have seen my reaction when I saw that.
I knew it was gonna happen, and that was so upsetting.
I kind of just jumped on my seat. I went like, "What? No!" Which makes sense because it happened. Everything happened at the same time. It was like the 3 days.
If you guys didn't know, this movie takes part in the same 3 days that Infinity War takes part in.
Yeah.
So...
And it's funny because Scott mentions like he only has 3 days left of house arrest.
A good time. We have a whole new team on the social medias with AJ and Culpepper, and it's just a good time. You know, Rebecca over up north helps us too. So give them all shout outs. Tell us what you want to hear. Talk to us. Talk to the fan. Like, not the fans. Talk to us. We want to talk to the fans. What else? Instagram, we're Beautiful Losers Pod. And what about you? Where can I find you?
We have the same nickname on all of the social media, so you can kind of just find us by Pass the Page Podcast or Pass the Page Pod. In Instagram, we have Snapchat, we have Twitter, and we have Facebook. So hit us a like and follow us, and look for us on Podbean facebook.com is Pass the Page Pod, so you can guys listen to us. We'll be talking about Harry Potter on our next episode. So
Podbean, look for them on iTunes soon. You can find all of this information on facebook.com/shrimpqueen. Next week, we're going to try to talk about My Hero Academia and Paper Girls. It shows that we're a little short on time today. So, thank you for listening. And do you have anything you want to say before?
No, I think that's it. It was nice to be on the show. It was my first time being on the show, so that's nice. That's cool. It's
a voice you're going to hear a little bit more often. We're going to get other guests on. We're just going to have a fun time as much as we can. All right? So,
thank you.
Peace and love.
Bye.
All right, bye.
This podcast was brought to you by the Shrimp Queen Network.
Visit facebook.com/shrimpqueenbn for more amazing shows. For more of this show and others like it, visit facebook.com/shrimpqueennetwork.